Bum ba dum bum 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 ba da bum ba da ba ba. Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and welcome to a portal directly into my childhood. I just acquired Dragon Quest Heroes 2 on sale, half off, and I decided to share this experience with you all. A little later than the time this video was cut, I started experiencing issues with NVIDIA compatibility with just the way that the game is programmed. This is a PS4 game port done on the cheap, not well optimized for PC NVIDIA cards specifically. And that's going to show up in a few small things here, including the black bars you'll see around the image on this one. The scaling for full screen is, well, it's just not fantastic. So I was recording this with Shadowplay, and I won't be able to use Shadowplay anymore to record any more footage from this game. So things will be a little bit different going down the line, but let's get into the gameplay. So first off, select your character, Guy or Garu, and of course, if we're going to be, playing a character, we might as well represent our daughters in this one, who are so precious to us, Guppy and Momo, together in one. So, Guppamoka. Guppamoka. There we go. Now, if we're squishing people together, why not throw in some more people that are precious to me as our cousin who will be joining us for this adventure. That's right, they had you pick your MC's gender, and then they were like, well, guess what, you get the boy too. So Lazo whatever, forget that name, let's make this something special. So let's combine some of my friends from Discord together so they can all join us in this experience. Well, I mean, obviously we'll start with Puma. I'd hate to leave him out. We have to type. I'm literally sitting here with a keyboard in front of me. And because this is a PS4 console game, or Xbox console game port, I have to go through this manual menu because reasons. Puma, AC, and Butler, welcome to the world of Dragon Quest Warriors. Dragon Quest Heroes. So to get into how this is a huge chunk of my childhood as we play around with some of these menu options. Dragon Warrior was a game that came to America in the form of some NES games, but I got into it when I was rocking my Game Boy Color. So I played, I think it was called Dragon Quest 4. Not quite sure on that one, and I'm not willing to, to take the time to look it up on Game Boy Color, and that was a fantastic game. I was immediately drawn to the Akira Toriyama, right? Yes, Akira Toriyama art style and art direction. That's the guy who directed the art for the Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z series of anime, and I enjoy his world building. He's like the Dr. Seuss of anime. Anyway, we'll get into some introduction here. It's really, really standard JRPG world building here, with an emphasis on the characters and not on the plot. So enjoy that for what it is, but also enjoy this classical music you'll recognize immediately from the Dragon Quest Dragon Warrior series of games. And for those of you that don't know already, Final Fantasy actually spawned from the Dragon Warrior games. So they were very similar to start out with, and then this one took on more of the Dragon Ball look, and other games, of course, the Final Fantasy went its own direction. So this is, it's a sort of a light-hearted art style in a high fantasy setting, And one of the things that I noticed right away, even as a child in the Dragon Quest worlds, is that they're very stylized. The language is stylized in the menus. They take longer to say things than they need to, all as part of the world building. And it really is one of those RPGs in the old school versions that would draw you into the world. And it was a game that you could get absorbed in the story of the characters and just the feel of the world. And the art style is just gorgeous, even on the Game Boy Color's, well, lower standard of graphical fidelity than what, of course, we've come to expect today. And you see it realized beautifully here in this game, Dragon Quest Heroes 2. This is obviously the sequel to the original Dragon Quest Heroes, and I can already see some ways that it is an improvement over the first entry in the series. This is actually a mashup of two of my favorite things, Dragon Quest with its beautiful art style and immersive world, and, by the way, the gorgeous music. I'm just in love with this music. It takes me all the way back to my childhood. I have a huge smile on my heart while I'm talking about these things. And it's also mashed up with the gameplay style of Dynasty Warriors. For those of you that don't know Dynasty Warriors, it is a game made in Japan that answers this simple question. What if you could just smack 50 or 60 people at once with your weapon? So it's an arcade-style beat-em-up in a more or less 3D world, and it is beautiful. Now, one of the things about Dynasty Warriors is it has not aged gracefully. You get the impression that their game engine is a little bit clunky, and that does show up in the mechanics of this game. You may have noticed while we had control of the camera, we're going into anime mode here, so settle in for a bunch of cutscenes. This is a Square Enix game after all, so just get in love with the world as I go on and on about how beautiful the game is and the purely platonic relationship between these probably blood-related cousins as we move into the world of whatever the hell this place is. I don't care. I'll pick up names eventually, I'm sure. But really, I've always treated the Dynasty... What are those two kids doing in the background? What the hell is that? Is that like a durian mixed with a pineapple? I don't want to guess what that smells like. You don't throw a citrus in a stew, you heathen. Anyway, moving on. You want to steam that stuff and serve it on crackers. Anyway, moving on with our lives. Look at the beauty of this world. It's not the highest DPI renderings, especially in these cutscenes. It seems like the cutscenes have an even lower resolution than the gameplay footage, because obviously this is a PC port of a console game, and yet the lighting is great. They did a great job with the textures in this game, and it shows. And War Thunder, if you nail textures, you can get away with a lot of graphics wiggle room. But, you know, potato, potato. Everybody has their own way. Yes, it is Wawa. Have some Wawa, baby. I'm being attacked by the toddler. Okay, where were we? I was rambling, wasn't I? So, excuse me as I eat the cheesy noodle that my daughter brought to me. So as I was saying, the look of this world is just gorgeous. We will get into gameplay pretty soon here, and it plays just like a Dynasty Warriors game, with a bunch of the spell casting and monster interactions that you pick up from the Dragon Quest games. To wit, while we get into the tutorial here that, well, I mean, I need it to figure out what buttons do what. I think you're going to see me messing with the menu settings for a while here. But, yeah, I don't need to learn how to play a Dynasty Warriors game, thank you. Even so, I was talking about the monster interactions in this game, and one of the things that I also fell in love with, along with the art direction and the sound of the Dragon Quest games, is the monsters, and they have become a hallmark of the series, especially since my favorite entry out of all the Dragon Quest games, not for the story, but for the gameplay. Dragon Quest IV had a fantastic story. I got sucked into that one. But in terms of gameplay, I've always favored the Dragon Quest Monsters series of games, which is essentially Pokemon in the world of Dragon Quest, with some interesting differences that make it definitely a good standalone game, and the complexity and depth of the game went far beyond the Pokemon titles of the day. So it was fantastic. I have no idea how to block. I don't have a right trigger. I'm using mouse and keyboard. So this is another another hint that this game is a little bit. Yes, you want me to try to catch the fish? We got him! We got him! Sorry, I'm doing double duty here. As we go through some control menus, any of you guys still left as I ramble on about this? But this is just a huge chunk of my childhood, and yes, I am recording all of this in one take, so you're welcome. Are you feeding a cookie to the fishy? That's a cheesy, Guppy. No food for the fish. Don't feed the fish. No, we don't give real food to toys. Okay, put away.
No.
Okay, well you do you, I'm gonna do me. Sorry. I'm trying to teach my toddler not to leave little bits of food in random places to rot, because she will do that. Anyway. Excuse me, I had to eat more cheesy noodle there. What was I talking about? This is kind of a random ramble episode now, isn't it? But it's early in the morning, and I have a lot I wanted to say, but, well, this isn't going to be the high-pace action that we're used to seeing in War Thunder, up until we get through the initial tutorial. But there's beautiful spellcasting effects in this game. There are weapon-based skills and attacks. It's fast-paced. The camera controls are trash. The tracking, I don't know how else to put it, but when you adjust your view, it's choppy. It moves in chunks, and it's noticeable, and I'm playing at 60 frames per second, which is the maximum FPS you can play this game, and it still feels choppy. So, not a huge fan of that. Again, more signs that this is a PC port of a console game that's just not done really well or in depth, and that's something I'm willing to accept. Just the fact that I'm able to play this on PC is something I'm happy with, and I got this game for half off at $30, and now that I've worked through the major graphical issues with the game that you won't be seeing in this video, but the game just freezes my entire computer at one point in the future outside this video, so I had to deal with that. And I might as well, at this time, if you're considering picking this game up, if you're a fan of the Dragon Quest series of games, and also a fan of the Dynasty Warriors series of games, as I am, this one's a no-brainer. This is a great game for you just in terms of nostalgia, as long as you're willing to accept that this is, as I've said over and over again, a sloppy PC port of a console game. So first off, especially if you're using an NVIDIA graphics card, you heard a little bit of spell casting. That was Frizz, I think, in the background. But anyway, if you're willing to, or if you're running an NVIDIA graphics card, you will need to run this game in windowed mode, and you can't just press Alt-Enter to full screen borderless the game. You have to download an app to run this game in a borderless window. I use an app called Full Screenizer, and the best way to get a hold of that one, it is free, is to Google search Full Screenizer download. There are some dead links, so be aware of that. But once you do find the Full Screenizer app, it's super simple to use. You just launch the game and then launch Full Screenizer and select it and tell it to go full screen. And what it does is it runs a code that stretches the image to your screen size and removes the border. But there's like 1 or 2 lines of useless pixels along the edge of the screen. So it's not perfect, but it's good enough. And as I mentioned, this is based on an old school JRPG with a combat system taken from a PlayStation era hack and slash RPG, and it's a beautiful combination of the two, as you're about to see me get into some actual combat. Really enjoying the Dynasty Warrior feels. Yeah, you got a fishy. Good job. High five. Fishy, you got him. Oh, he's so wiggly. He's so wiggly. Here, you take him. Oh, run away. Run away. He's biting. He's biting. So, I bit ya. He bit ya. Catch fishy. Catch. Good job. Yeah. I'm getting a little bit sidetracked here. I'm getting attacked by the toddler. She wants some daddy attention. I might not even be able to record this whole thing in one take. We'll have to see. What are you doing? But no, we don't feed the fish. Okay, more enemies spawn in, and we see that Dynasty Warriors is still stuck with that spawn zone protection. Listen up, War Thunder. Where you cannot progress through the field to the enemy spawn area, where waves of enemy troops spawn in. And again, excuse me as I fumble through the menu here looking for some better controls. It's quite a bit of adapting to get this game to work well on mouse and keyboard, and at the same time, if you want to use a controller, that works just fine. You can see the controls are set up for a 360 controller, so that's probably the best way to play this game. But I have a few third-party junky clunky PS3 controllers 360 controllers at my house, and they just don't work properly, so I'm not going to be using those. And well, that is that. Hi, baby. Why do you have a box on your head? Why do you have a box on your head? Wee woo, fire truck. Ah, hi, baby. Hi. Where's the fire? I'm being attacked. I'm being attacked by a guppy. Guppy, say hi. We're making a video right now. And there is, again, the nostalgia factor of this game is so good. And I'm trying out the different combinations, and the button combinations, the attack combos that you're used to in Dynasty Warriors between regular attack and power attack are still there. So I love it. And as I mentioned, this is one of those stories that can draw you in. The old Dragon Quest games were designed to be played entirely single player in your home, avoiding the world for a year or so while you wait for the next Dragon Warrior game to come out. So they tended to have a massive amount of content, an immersive world, and gameplay that, even if it got a little bit or a whole lot repetitive, didn't quite get stale, because you always had some kind of new thing that you would be working your way toward, or exploring into. There was a lot of world to explore, and there's not a massive amount to the game world so far that I've noticed, but with this Dynasty Warriors style combat, it really helps to keep things a bit more fresh. And the character progression seems to be, from the few hours that I've played, just as immersive and dynamic as I would expect out of a out of a Dragon Warrior game. In any event, I keep getting Dragon Quest and Dragon Warrior mixed up, and so do the people that title these games, as they came out as Dragon Warrior in the East. Yeah, baby, I can't wear a hat while I'm doing the headphones thing. And they were launched in America, for whatever reason, as the Dragon Quest series of games, maybe to emphasize the fact that they are indeed an RPG. Yes, hat. Woo! Hi, cutie. Yes, you have my hat. Okay, straight. There you go. Straight. You are such a cutie. My daughter went and got my straw hat, which I wear when I'm mowing lawns, which is, by the way, how I pay for all of my gaming. So the vast majority of my gaming expenses I pay for, including all my War Thunder tanks that I buy, unless someone gives one to me. Very generous of you, Fritzl. But I actually go out and mow lawns to pay for things like, well, this game. Except that I actually bought this game with some birthday money that my grandma gave me. So, if you have some extra birthday money, this game is on sale for half off right now and at $30. Again, if you're a fan of the Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest series of games, if you enjoy the combat gameplay of Dynasty Warriors, it's a no-brainer. This is a good buy. Again, issues because it's a PC port and not one that's been really fully developed. It's going to feel like you're playing a console game on PC, and things that you should be familiar with if you've played other PC ports. But if not, this will be your introduction to those problems. And yeah, I'll be here if you need some help playing this game on your PC. It's not going to be the simplest thing in the world. But it's a good game. It's well designed. It's right in keeping with the traditions of both Dynasty Warrior and Dragon Warrior / Dragon Quest. It has that beautiful art style that you see in the Akira Toriyama style of games, and I hope I'm getting the right guy, because there's also... Yeah, Guy! Okay, good for you. Are those Serenids? No, I think those are actually Vagars. Anyway, that is a Mountain Blade reference. In any event, I've been enjoying this game, and I look forward to playing it as a relaxing pastime game. You remember when video games were actually fun? That's what I look forward to with this game. And in terms of recommending it to people that are not already a fan of Dragon Quest or Dynasty Warriors, I would not recommend this game as your introduction to either series. My recommendation, watch some gameplay of some of the earlier Dragon Warrior games or Dynasty Warrior games and get a feel for what's going on there. The main line of Dragon Warrior / Dragon Quest games has gone into, I think, Dragon Quest 11 here in the US, so there is a lot of content for you to get into the world of Dragon Warrior with. And in terms of Dynasty Warriors, is that Dong Zhuo? That's Dong Zhuo! But anyway, in terms of that's a Dynasty Warriors reference, just for those of you that don't know. I'm expecting Lu Bu at any time. But on a completely unrelated note, to finish up what she handed me, keys and a fish. I'm not sure what you want me to do with this. This seems a little bit suspect. Oh, we caught the fishy! We caught him, he's wiggling! He's wiggling. I'll catch him holding him, Guppy. Hold him, he's getting away. Oh no, he's gonna bite you. He's gonna bite you. Oh no, he got you. Okay, we got him. We got him. Sorry, I'm doing my full-time job here at the same time. As Dong Zhuo tells us to go defend Hulao Gate one last time. Go watch some Dynasty Warriors stuff or play some of the Dynasty Warriors games. There are PlayStation 1 emulators out there. PlayStation 2 emulators out there that you can DL on the DL and play some fantastic older games as a way, and I would only recommend this illegal activity as a means of playing some games that are never going to be relaunched in their original format. They're basically abandonware. And you can give yourself an idea of what you're looking forward to with this game, which is very much a Dynasty Warriors game. Of course, the Dynasty Warriors series of games has gone on to become a massive franchise, but I would hazard to say that the main line of Dynasty Warriors is kind of drying up, and it's a lot more exciting to see Tecmo working on, I think it's Tecmo that makes these, working on Dynasty Warriors style gameplay in much more interesting and engaging settings, like the Legend of Zelda Heroes, I think it's called, which is the same idea with Legend of Zelda. Looks like a really fun game. Unfortunately, that's a Nintendo brand, so you're only going to see that on Nintendo's consoles until Nintendo gets their head into the modern times. I'm looking forward to a cheap PC port of a Nintendo console game sometime in the future, but until then, you can play one of these Game Boy / PlayStation classics that has been brought to the big screen so that the PC Master Race can enjoy it properly. Anyway, we've gotten an introduction to the story and to the game. If you've actually been paying attention to what's going on in the backgrounds of my ramblings here, and you can hear the toddler growing restless. So with that, I'll just finish you guys off on the end of this one to watch the last of this video without all of my commentary, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.